In this video I'm going to show you how you can use the desktop of Windows as part of your animation and logo display on an LED screen when you're running it with our Stopwatch software on the desktop here. Now you can see here it's actually running, and you can see the desktop just changed there. And I'm going to modify this now so that it will display 4 lots of logos whilst the clock is running. So down here I've got 2 logos on a thumb drive, and I've just now dragged those, and I'll do one of them again. I'm going to drag it into the Windows folder here, and yes, I want to copy it, and so now we've loaded it on here. Now what I need to do is go into this area here, and we're now going to save the graphics that we want to use to be changing. So next we're just going to click on the desktop background, and you will see now that the 2 graphics I've just added are these ones here, and I'm going to select those. I will leave these 2 here on just for the example because you're already familiar with that, and we've now set the time, so we've got 10, 30, 1 minute, 3 minutes. We'll leave it on 10 seconds, and now we'll save it. And now you can see what's happening is that I'll just close these out of the way, we don't need them any longer. And now our clock is actually still running, but we can't actually see it. Because why? Because the letters are black. So I'm now going to change the colors of the digits and the background. I'll just show you a little bit of functionality here. So first of all, let's do the digits, so we'll get a color that we can see all the time. And let's say we're going to choose red, and there we have them there. And what I've also done is I've added transparency to the clock. So now when I click off it, it's actually showing the black desktop, and as you could see there, nothing's changed. The clock hasn't changed, just the desktop graphic has changed. And it's going to go through in another 10 seconds. There we have the other desktop with the ice magic in the screen logo, and now it's going to change again to a black desktop, and now it's showing here our 2 logos, a Dell logo and an Ice AB logo, and they're actually part of the desktop graphic. Now it's changed to the next one. So as you can see here, that's quite an easy way of getting a display with graphics and running with our Stopwatch software, which can be triggered with RS232 input, and that's simply just using the RS232 connector input as a contact closure on a couple of the pins. It's not really reading a text or data code or anything of that nature. What we'll do now, we'll remove the other 2 desktop images that we don't want, so we'll deselect those, and now we're just going to be running our advertorial desktop screen images. Save that, close that, and now we'll just move that out of the way completely, and now you can see just these here. And so when you're looking at this on the desktop of the LCD screen now, you would think that there are 3 intelligent components actually part of that. In fact, all it is the background graphic, as I explained, and the clock running. Now, the important thing, how do you match all of this to an LED screen? And this is the part you need to clearly understand. So first of all, let me just show you on this other screen over here. So the important thing to now understand is that we're looking at a desktop LCD screen here. It's one of the windows open, and the desktop is, I think, 1280 by 100 or something of that nature. The important aspect is though is the LED screen pixels, and for this example I just want to talk about a specific example here. So this has been set up to display our P10 Players 480 LED panels, and each panel is 480 mils by 480 mils, and it's P10. So what that means is that this area from here, from that corner to that corner and to that corner, right, is the crucial area. And we have to tell the LED screen that the pixels are exactly located here to display, or over there, or anywhere on the screen. So that actually has to be set down. Now you'll notice here on the software here, as I move it around, it's actually telling us where the top left of the screen starts and how many pixels. So that's quite important to understand, and it's all just part of the setup procedure. So that's the first thing. So we have to tell the screen how big the area is and whereabouts on the LCD screen the area is to be displayed. And with that little magic, we can now display the logos and so forth that you might want on the LED screen. Now on this one here, you can see if you filled all of this up with digits in here, there's really going to be no room for visible logos that are intelligent and easily seen. So the important aspect then is that one has to be aware that maybe the screen you're ordering has to be of sufficient size to cover a desktop area, say of that, because up in this area here you might run the clock, down the bottom you might run the, or display the logos. So that setup configuration has to be displayed, or has to be sent and stored in the LED screen controller system, normally associated and mounted on the rear of the screen. Now, to run our Stopwatch software, we don't actually need to run this program here. That actually is a complete control system software package for playing out media, and these here are different graphics, though they're not displayed on the computer at the moment, and you could revolve those and so forth on the screen through a schedule. We just have to make sure the screen knows the display size. So now let me take you back to our Stopwatch screen and then show how this information relates back to the Stopwatch. So we're now on our Stopwatch screen, and you can now see, so if this was the area that I was talking about before, where we had a number of our Players 480 screens set up and the setting knew exactly where that was going to be, then we're halfway there. The next we need to do is to make sure that our physical screen is actually going to be able to display the pixels that are around this area. So it can display the Google logo and this other logo to the side. This area down here would be displayed as black on the screen and wouldn't show anything. So when considering the size of your screen, I guess there are going to be a few aspects that need to be considered. First of all, what is the size of the LED digits? What do they need to be in terms of being visible for the distance? Now, the software is quite versatile, and as you can see, I can do a number of things here. I can actually expand that up very large. So, for example, it might be running on a plasma LCD screen, that type of thing, and so forth. But in this particular scenario here, if we'd only set it up for 240 pixels by 48 pixels, in fact, our LED screen can't display it. And if we wanted to have it as large as this, we would actually have to use a completely different technique to be able to display it on the LED screen. But for this example, I'm talking about just how you could use the software and the desktop graphics as part of your complete display system. So I just need to bring that back down. And so I'm now assuming for this example our physical screen is going to be this size, and you know, at a guess, let's just make up some numbers, but it might be 300 pixels wide and it might be 150 pixels high, and now our screen will be able to display only that area in there. So I want to just now show you something else, and if we go to transparency, so what I can now do, I can switch transparency off, and you can see here now we're showing the white background. So this would actually be a black background. Where it's black would display on the LED screen, where it's white would display white, and where it's red it would display red. And so we can now go in through here and change those colors. So we might want to make the background, for the sake of this example, we might want to make it blue, and we might want to make the letters white. And now we obviously need a full color LED screen, and we can display that exactly as you'd want. Probably not a very good idea to leave this black area here where you could have another sponsor's logo, or maybe a logo here and a message underneath here. And so now these other file settings that are popping up here on the side, these are all about how you can integrate the timing into Excel, and so you can record persons' names against the timing, the ability to take a snap time shot of the person's performance, and a whole range of aspects available here. And so this particular solution here becomes a pretty fantastic way of adding some digital signage, stopwatch timing, and of course that could be in a number of scenarios. So you know, we can change it, we can have it so that when it gets to start time, finish time, it plays an audio file, and all those types of things too. So very versatile. We can change the number of digits that are going to be available to be viewed. And so for switching digits on and off, there's part of the menu here that allows us to switch hours off, minutes and seconds, just allowing us to determine exactly how many digits we want on screen. So let's assume we don't need hours because our event only runs for minutes at a time, and we'll just leave these other settings as they are. And so now you can see we've got a total of 6 digits that will start. And let me just go into hotkeys here, and what have we got allocated? Okay, I've got S for hotkeys. So now I could actually manually start that, and it's now starting, and I've got S also for stop. So I'm simply just using the keyboard to start and stop the clock. So that's what I wanted to show in this video, just the aspects that you need to be aware of in integrating a clock, stopwatch, but just whilst I say the word clock, we can actually display it as a clock. Now obviously you've got PM and so forth here, and the digits that are displayed here, the fonts, they can be changed. So a little bit of customization and planning just how you will place everything on the screen, and do you have enough space to display everything. So I guess for the stopwatch aspect, you know, it may need to be made a little bit smaller for the clock. Again, just depending on, you know, is the edge of the LED screen actually here, or is it here? And so that will be physically to be determined, whether it's a 2.5 meter screen or a 3 meter screen, exactly by how many pixels are in the screen, and also the physical dimensions of the display panel, cabinet, curtain, or whatever it is that you're displaying on. So let's just go back. We'll put it on the stopwatch here. I've got it set for those digits there. Only part of the logos are going to be displayed, and we can start it off here, and that's how it would be. So it's a pretty brilliant way, we think, to be able to get some quite nice stopwatch functionality at a very low cost, running on essentially any size LED screen. The clarity of the digits are going to determine on 2 factors: the resolution of the pitch of the LED screen and the physical size of the actual LED screen. The viewing distance is then going to be the factor determining whether you can understand and have clear visibility of the sponsor logos and also the digits on the clock. So they're the aspects you need to consider, and that will all affect your budget, your price, and the solution that we recommend for you. Thanks for watching. Details are on the end of this video and on the associated text. Look forward to helping you at your next sports timing occasion.